Hello, my name is Glenn, and I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. In this video, I will demonstrate how just some of the content that you'll learn in my membership will allow you to build cool Excel models that wow your friends and coworkers. In this lesson, our objective is to build a dynamic chart that illustrates the time value of money. This tutorial will illustrate how a combination of topics, like named ranges, formulas, mathematical operators, and financial functions, autofill, what-if analysis with data tables, charts, offset functions and array formulas, and a spinner control will allow us to generate a dynamic chart. In financial courses, we learn the formula. The future value of an investment, like a dollar in the bank, is equal to the present value multiplied by 1 plus the interest rate raised to the power of time. In this lesson, we'll learn to use this formula to create a dynamic chart. I am going to switch to Excel and we'll begin with a blank workbook. And allow me to zoom in. We'll begin this lesson by typing my variables for present value, time, and interest. In cell A1, let's type the letters PV to label that present value, then press the Enter key to move down a row. In cell A2, let's type the letter T for time and press the Enter key to move down a row. And in cell A3, let's type the letter I to label that for interest and press the Enter key. Although it's not a requirement, one of the topics we cover at length in my classes is named ranges because they help simplify the readability of formulas. What I would like to do is name cells B1 to B3 using the labels in cells A1 to A3. Let's select or highlight from cells A1 to B3. And now let's click on the Formulas tab of the ribbon. In the Defined Names group, let's click the Create from Selection command. When Excel prompts us how to name the cells, let's leave the Create Names from Values in the left column checked, and now click the OK button. Although you won't see any immediate changes, we now have 3 named ranges. Instead of referring to cell B1 in a formula, we can now substitute the label PV. Instead of referring to cell B2 in a formula, we can now substitute the label T. And instead of referring to cell B3 in a formula, we can now substitute the letter I. In cell B1, we need a value. Let's type 1 for $1. To complete my edit, in my course, you'll learn to hold the Control key while you press the Enter key so that Excel finishes your edit but stays in that cell. To apply a currency number format, on the keyboard, I would use 2 fingers to hold Control and Shift and then press the number 4, the dollar symbol, and that's the shortcut to a currency number format. Let's click once to navigate to cell C4. In my course, we'll learn that formulas begin by typing an equal symbol, and the equal symbol always appears in the upper right of any US keyboard near the backspace key. After we type an equal symbol, let's type the letters PV means present value, and I don't want the function, I want the named range, the one with a box of squares. I'll type asterisk for multiplication, open parenthesis, 1 plus I is a named range for interest, close parentheses, caret T for exponentiation, to raise 1 plus the interest rate across the period of time. T is a named range, not a function. Then I would press the Tab key on the keyboard to move right, and here I'd like to enter some interest rates. I would type 0.01 and then hold Control and press Enter. To format that number as a 1%, on the keyboard, let's hold Control and Shift and type a percent symbol would be the number 5. I'll press the Tab key to move right to cell E4. I'll type 0.02. Let's hold Control and press Enter, and then Control-Shift-5 will apply a percentage number format. To ask Excel to create a series that increments by 1%, let's point our mouse at the center of cell D4, hold the left mouse button, and drag the mouse right to the center of E4 and release your mouse. In the lower right corner of cell E4 is a small green square known as autofill. You'll notice that when I point my mouse over the autofill square, the fat white plus cursor changes to a thin black plus symbol. Let's hold our left mouse button, click and drag right to column O, and then let go. Excel's autofill feature generates a sequence of percentage interest rates that we'll use in our data table. Now let's click once on cell C5. I'll type the number 1, meaning 1 year. I'll press the Enter key. And in cell C6, let's type the number 2, which represents 2 years, and press the Enter key. Then let's select cells C5 and C6. Let's point our mouse at the green autofill square in the lower right corner of cell C6. Hold your left mouse button, and let's drag that down to row 30. We now have enough information set up to generate a data table. A data table allows Excel to generate a dynamic array formula based on either 1 or 2 variables. To ask Excel to generate this data table, let's select from cell C4 down and right to cell O30. Then we navigate to the Data tab of the ribbon. Toward the far right, let's click on the What If Analysis button and click on the Data Table command. Since the row inputs are the percentage interest rates, let's click on cell B3, the named range for interest, I. Then in the Data Table dialog, let's click on the Column Input Cells box, and now let's click on cell B2, the named range for time, T. Then click the OK button. Excel's What If Analysis feature builds a data table that shows how 2 variables, time and interest, affect our present value at different interest rates over different time periods. What's kind of cool is that if we navigate back and click on cell B1, let's type the number 5 and press the Enter key. Notice that updates all the values in the data table. The way the data table works is that the formula in cell C4 feeds all the interest rates in row 4 into cell B3, and the data table feeds all the numbers in column C into cell B2. Let's change cell B1 back to $1. Press the Enter key. Now let's click on cell C2 and let's enter an initial offset value. I'll type the number 1. And in this example, that means 1 row. I'll press the Tab key to move right. Now let's highlight from cell D2 to O2. And to create an array formula, let's type equals and the letters OFF, and then click twice on the offset function, or gently press the Tab key to autocomplete the word. The first argument to offset is a reference, and I would ask you to click and drag from cell D4 to cell O4. Now let's type a comma, which brings us to the number of rows we'd like to offset, and I would ask you to click on the 1 that we've typed in cell C2, and now type a comma, which brings us to the column offset, and for this example, I would ask you to type a 0. To complete the array formula, let's hold the Shift key while we press the Enter key. An array formula is simply a single formula that produces results in more than one cell. We can tell this is an array because if we click once on cell D2, you'll notice a blue border around the block of cells we've highlighted. So if we were to change the 1 that we've typed in cell D2, let's say we type a 5, that asks the offset function to display the data shown from row 9 instead of row 5. Let's reset cell C2 to the number 1 and press the Enter key. Now we're ready to generate the dynamic chart. Let's select the numbers we generated with the data table. Let's highlight cells D5 to O5. For those of you on a Windows computer, if we hold the Alt key on the bottom row and then tap F1 above the 1 key on the keyboard, Alt F1 is a shortcut to insert a chart on your sheet. For those of you with an Apple, you would navigate to the Insert tab of the ribbon, and you would click on the standard 2D clustered column chart. And allow me to move that a little lower. Once we insert the chart, Excel shows a new context-sensitive ribbon related to charting. If we navigate to the Chart Design tab, let's select the Change Chart Type command. Along the left, let's change this to an XY scatter chart, and then along the top, let's choose Smooth Lines, No Markers. Now in the bottom, let's click the OK button. Now let's click once on the blue line in the chart, and you'll notice that Excel highlights the cells that the chart refers to. I would ask you to point your mouse at the blue border around the selected cells in row 5, and when your cursor changes to a four-headed arrow shape, click and hold the left mouse button and drag that up to the offset numbers in row 2 and let go of your mouse. Then I would like to hide the numbers in cells C2 to O2. So let's select from C2 to O2. And on the Home tab of the ribbon, let's set the font color to white. Finally, the last step would be to make our chart dynamic, and based on the offset function in cell C2, that will allow users to change the time value from row 5 to a different time period. To work with a spinner control, you'll need to show the Developer tab on the ribbon. If you point your mouse at any tab at the top of the ribbon and click the right mouse button, let's left-click on the Customize Ribbon command. For those of you with an Apple computer, you'll need to navigate to the Excel menu in the upper left and choose Excel Preferences and locate the ribbon button. In the right column, where Excel shows the main tabs, I would ask you to locate and check the Developer checkbox, and then click the OK button to close that window. Let's click once on the Developer tab of the ribbon. I would ask you to locate the Insert button, and in the first row, fourth column, let's click once on the spinner control. Now let's point our mouse at cell C2 and click once to add a spinner. The default spinner control is much too large. If we point our mouse at the circle in the lower right corner, let's click and drag up and to the left to reduce the height and width so that that fits approximately in cell C2. Then to set the properties of the spinner control, let's point our mouse in the center, click the right mouse button, and then left-click on the Format Control command. Let's change the minimum value to 1. Let's change the maximum value to 26. And then let's click in the cell link box at the bottom of the Format Control dialog. And you could either click on cell C2 or you could type C2. That's the cell that contains our numeric offset function. Then let's click OK to view the result. To deselect the spinner control, click an empty cell away from the spinner, and then I would ask you to click the up arrow to increment the spinner's value, and notice how the chart dynamically updates. The problem with our chart is that I don't know which row of data I'm looking at, and I don't know how many years I've selected. We should also add a dynamic chart title that shows the number of years. I would click once on cell E1, and I'll create a formula by typing an equal sign, then a quote, the time value of money at space quote ampersand C2 ampersand quote space years quote. In our course, we'll learn that the ampersand symbol means concatenate or combine. That formula reads, combine the text, the time value of money at, with the number of years in cell C2, and then combine that with the word years. I'll hold Control and press Enter. Now let's click once on the chart title at the top of our chart, navigate to the formula bar, type an equal sign, but we can't type E1. I need you to click cell E1 with the mouse. Hold Control and press Enter on the keyboard. We should also hide cell E1, and if you navigate back to that cell, on the Home tab, I would ask you to set the font color to white. As we click the up arrow on the spinner control, notice that updates the years in the chart, as well as it plots different rows of data from the data table. Thanks for joining me for my dynamic chart tutorial. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Please share this with family, friends, and coworkers, or whoever you think can benefit. I always welcome feedback. I hope to see you again soon as I create and share more awesome Excel tutorials. To learn more about all the features covered in this tutorial, I encourage you to look into my quarterly membership plan. Thank you.